All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a very interesting new update in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. And the most important part here being that we are officially closing a chapter. Things are finally done, and well, it caused the price to do something pretty good. Over the past 24 hours or so, the XRP price is right back up. I mean, we saw it basically trading at $2.20 for a good while. Then after a news announcement came out with regards to the lawsuit, the price fell to about $2.10, right around that level. And right now it's back to about $2.18, basically regaining everything that it lost. And it really reminds everybody that XRP at the $2.08, $2.12, basically that region, it's so freaking cheap. It always just keeps on working. If you buy in that area, it's so freaking hard to lose. Not financial advice, but it just keeps on working. We've talked about this many a time. Every single time, if you buy XRP close to the $2 mark, you seem to just make a lot of money. Now, having said that, the most important news that came out today was definitely this. Ripple is dropping their cross appeal, and the SEC is expected to drop their appeal soon as well. As they previously said, they're closing this chapter once and for all and focusing on what's most important, building the Internet of Value lock-in. And this lock-in, this little part right there is what caught everybody by surprise, and why I believe this post also has 2.7 million views in just a few hours. We also, by the way, had the co-founder of Binance say, hey, by the way, did you know that Binance never delisted XRP? That is actually very nice. We had 𝗲𝗏𝗡 state, fantastic, Brad. The injunction against Ripple is ridiculous, but it sounds like you guys have sufficient workarounds to the point where it won't make business too difficult. So if you're wondering what I'm not sure if you guys can also actually hear the geckos that we've got around. I just almost stepped on one, so I'm gonna not try, but let me see if I can spot one right now. Maybe it's actually too wet right now. There was also a very interesting other animal right over there. No, nothing right now that I can see. By the way, I'm going to be doing my best to get rid of all the bots very soon. I've got a couple of people that I'm in contact with that are apparently more knowledgeable on how to get rid of all the bots in the comment section. So stay tuned. Maybe it's going to get better in a little while. But if you're a real person, just type, yeah, let's freaking go, or something like that in the comment section. Let's talk about the rest of the news. So as I was trying to say, what they're talking about with that workaround and why this all is quite meaningful is a little bit earlier, the judge denied the parties, let's quickly go back to it, denied the parties' motion for indicative ruling, right? Well, what the response was from Stewart, he basically said, with this, the ball is back in our court. The court gave us two options: dismiss our appeal challenging the finding on historic institutional sales, or press forward with the appeal. And this part, if you're wondering, is basically about the fact that the previous ruling from the judge basically said that whatever Ripple was selling to institutions, they should not be doing it again and was faulty. And Ripple doesn't really want to have it stay that way. They don't really want it to stand there that whatever they did was bad or that they should not be selling to institutions because the rules have changed. Stay tuned though. Either way, XRP's legal status does not change, but basically, because he used this historic word right there, a lot of people are stating that right now they probably have found yet another way around it because they've changed the method in which they will operate. So if you're wondering, can Ripple still continue on with business? Will they still thrive? Most likely, based on all this, yes. But the lock-in is what everybody has been zooming in on here, coming from, of course, the man himself, Brad Garlinghouse. And by the way, if you were looking for a little update, we talked about a specific buy range for XRP. This buy range was basically the $2, let's just call it 7 or so to $2.14 range. And actually throughout the past few hours, let me quickly see if I can change camera. It's not going to do that, so it's going to be a little bit ugly, but hey, basically the price just came back to that area over the past day or so. So perhaps all the people that missed the entry at the beautiful $1.90 were still able to get themselves at least some sort of position in here. But for the most part, the actual trades themselves, they've not changed. They've not added anything. I've not really been doing anything. They're still in an okay position with the main XRP trade still trading actually right now at a loss. The hype trade being in an okay position, ETH being okay. And again, the plan is keep these open for a good while, at least the two of these. The Bitcoin position I can actually also keep adding to at these levels. But I do have a little fun side update, by the way, because first of all, this should only stand for everybody. Just make them realize, lock in, get yourself away from all the distractions, all the noise. If you just keep continuing to buy, and really this dip that we saw last night proves it yet again, if you just continue to buy, it might take some time, it might take some patience, but you'll get over it. I've done something quite fun that some of you guys will think is really, really stupid. I think about it in two ways. So one thing that I've done is I bought a new watch, and I bought it specifically with XRP because I can. And this is a fun thing. Depending on where you live in the world, you can actually pay most of your things using cryptocurrencies. Either stable coins if they're easier for you, XRP, whatever. But since the majority of the money that I have is in XRP, and I told you, I never sell XRP, I did an interesting thing. I switched the majority of the dollars that I had over, not everything, because you always want to be able to buy dips, but I switched them over into basically an XRP reserve of sorts, right? So where a lot of people always tell me, man, you know, instead of putting it in the S&P, you should buy Bitcoin. I decided to do it with some Bitcoin, of course, as well, because I think Bitcoin is basically the trendsetter, and it goes for Bitcoin first and then some of the major alts, but also a large more portion of XRP. So I'm basically now even more dollar poor and more XRP rich, but that also means that instead of usually spending my dollar money, I now actually have to start spending these coins. So in my own opinion, it doesn't feel like I'm selling them because I'm sending them over, but I'm also doing my reserves in it, which to some people is really, really stupid. But with the way I live, it's okay because I'm not really touching the surface regardless of how much I decide to spend. But it's also with cards, right? If you use crypto cards nowadays, you can deposit whatever crypto you want and you can use it to pay for groceries. You can pay your freaking rent with it. You can even pay your freaking credit card balances with it. It's kind of interesting. And so from the way I personally look at it, it's just a step I needed to take, you know? And some might ask why specifically XRP. It's just a matter of, well, the only part that's not nice is that you don't want to buy things when the price is really low, right? But the way I see it is, if the majority of my funds are in there anyway, I'm not buying something that will really take the top off, that will really make me feel awful or awkward. If I just continue on, it's basically like having it in dollars, but then better. For sometimes it might look slightly worse, sure. But overall, it'll definitely be up significantly. And as long as I have a good amount of money left to buy the dip in case it does happen, I don't think this is a bad idea. I really don't think it is. And so for the most part, it's something that's constantly on your mind. I think for a lot of you, you might be having it too, that you're thinking, maybe I should put in more. But I think I got over that hurdle many, many years ago because I'm 99% in crypto, right? But a lot of that is also stablecoin and stablecoin dollars. I decided to make another big investment. And it's not really based on price. I don't think it matters too much if I buy it at $1.99 or $2.08, something like that. Overall, you know, with the prices as to where I think it's going, I don't think it's going to matter too much. So I'm not too worried about that on a daily basis. All I care about is where it's going to be over the next few years. I think we all know where it's headed. But yeah, that's about it for this little quick crypto update. I'm still holding, I'm still buying more because I know where we're headed. And I'm not your financial advisor, but I still am highly convinced over the next few months, we'll be at the freaking top.